All right, thank you for coming again. In this quick video, I want to talk about home appraisal. So why do we need home appraisal? Who need home appraisal? What are home appraisal looking for in a house? And how can you challenge an unfavorable home appraisal? So to start with this one, I will start with the first one. Why do we even need home appraisal in the first place? Home appraisal is in place to protect the lender, the buyer, and any other parties that have interest in that transaction. But most of the time, it's usually the lender and the buyers. So who need home appraisal? A home buyer need appraisal, a lender need appraisal, a home seller need an appraisal, a home investor or syndicators, any kind of partnership in a real estate transaction need home appraisal. Now, what is the purpose of home appraisal? The purpose is to be able to give a professional opinion of value on the property. So that is, I need to have a professional opinion on how much this property actually worth. So that way I don't overpay, for the property that probably worth $400,000. I don't want to pay $450,000. So a home appraisal is a professional report that tells us how much the property worth. So now, lender need it because of financing. They are going to be financing the property. It's a huge investment on their side, and they want to make sure it's a very secure investment. So it's a very sure way for them to know that they are not paying too much for the property, which again protect the buyer, and also for them to know that their investment is secure, because should the buyer default, they can easily sell the property, get the money back, borrow it to another. So that's number one reason on why they need it. So also, I need to clear this one. Home appraiser is different from home inspection. Home inspection is when a professional inspector go to the property to inspect the property, interior, exterior, the roof, the driveway, everywhere, to make sure that the property, to uncover any issue the property may have. And the goal is, again, is to protect the buyer, or to give it to the seller. Sometimes seller can get inspection report too if they're trying to sell their house. So that way they can fix any problem, identify during inspection, by hiring a professional inspector. So that way they can fix those problems before they even list their property on the market. So buyer need to do home appraisal, but home appraisal is not the same as home inspection. It is an opinion of value. Like I said, a professional will go there, check everything they need to check, which I'm going to get to in a short while, and come up with the numbers like, hey, having looked at everything, having looked at this and that, this is the price that this is what I think your property worth. So, and they work on behalf of the lender. They are not hired, they are not employee of the lender, but they are mostly hired by your lender to go and do a home appraisal, because the lender is the one putting in their money. They are the one borrowing you money. They want to make sure their investment is safe. So they hire by a lender, but they are not working for them. They are independent third party. They are just on their own, and nobody can influence with appraisal. They are independent. They do their own thing, managed by different body, and they send reports, they get paid, that's it. So now buyer pay for the appraisal, because an appraiser has to get paid either a transaction close or not. So an appraiser has to get paid, so they get paid usually upfront, before they go and do the appraisal. So they want to make sure they get paid. So if they get paid, whatever happened to the property, they really don't care, because they've been paid. So now, how does appraisal even appraise your house? How do they come up with that value that, hey, having looked at everything, this is what I think your house was? Number one way they do that, which is a very common way in the residential real estate space. When I say residential, single family residential, or 1 to 4 units, they look at sales comparable, or sometimes we call it comps, or we call it comparable market analysis, CMA. So they look at this by looking within 1 mile, or if there's a lot of data, they look within 0.5 mile of the subject property. Subject property is your property that you are trying to appraise. I want to know what this property worth. So they will be looking within 0.5 mile radius of your property and look at similar square foot, similar bedrooms, similar year builds, similar amenities, among other things they will look for to be able to come up with, okay, this is a good match. This is a good one. No, this one doesn't have this. I need to remove it. So they will do that. And after they do that, they will start dissecting those property to see that, okay, they actually are close to apples as much as possible. They stay within 1 mile, nothing more than 1 mile for a good appraisal. They look at sold comparable within the last 180 days, the last 6 months. So if they can get something within 3 months, that's the best. If they can get something within 0.2 mile, 0.3 mile, that is the best. And I like to do mine within 0.2, 0.3 miles because I still run a comparable for my clients. So if you're my client, I will be giving you a sales comparable that tell you on how much similar property I've sold for, within 0.2, 0.3 miles of the subject property. But if we couldn't get any good comps within 0.2, 0.3, we can go up to 1 mile. So within 180 days, which is 6 months, is good. Anything shorter than that is even better. But if you're going up to 1 year, it's kind of like lessen the quality, of the appraisal. We want to be as close to the subject property as comparable as possible. Then we analyze and adjust, which is what I've been saying. There is no two property will never be the same. So there will be something that is a little bit changing. Then we're going to adjust them to be able to okay, this one doesn't have a pool. This one doesn't have this one. We'll remove it and eventually, place a dollar amount for those things that we remove to still be able to come up with a very solid number, which everybody will be everybody will be making decision based off. So they're going to be making decisions based on that numbers that the appraiser give. Now, an appraiser is an independent person. They are real estate professional. It's different from an inspector. It's different from a real estate agent. It's different from real estate insurance. So it's a different space. But their own goal is to come up with a number that everybody will be able to work with. Like, okay, this is the house. This is the opinion of value of the appraisal. We have to follow this. Lender follow it, seller follow it, buyer follow it, everybody follow it. Even insurance company follow it to give you an insurance quote for your house. So now they look at that. And another way they can also appraise a property is to do a replacement cost. So number one way is sales comps, like I discussed. And in the sales comps, they look at those things I've discussed. Number two way is a replacement cost. And these are really used in the residential space. They are mostly used in, commercial, from some rare building that you can't really find some of them, like museum, like churches, mosque, libraries, among other historical places that they can use replacement cost for. Replacement cost means that what is the cost as of today if you want to bring this property down and rebuild it, how much is it going to cost us to do that? So that's what they do with replacement cost. Again, it's rarely used in residential. You probably will never need this if you're within the residential space. Now, what an appraiser look for in a house? That's a good question, right? They look for the exterior, the roof, the siding, the foundation, the driveway. They look for cracks, they look for termite issue, that can kind of like tell us that, okay, hey, because of this has to be fixed, that has to be fixed. And every issue they find in the house is lessen the value of the house. Because if the other house is in a very sound and very looking good condition, but the subject property is looking a little bit, needs some work, then that will bring the value down a little bit. So depending on how much it's going to cost to fix that, and they will also suggest how much it's going to cost, or they will recommend you talk to a licensed general contractor to do that for you. So that's number one. They are also looking into health and safety issues. They're looking for, like I mentioned, termites, damaging, your sidings. They look for foundation issues. They look for HAC not working, the light fixtures not working, something that is just window is broken, something that is just of safety concern. They look for that, and all this again will bring down the appraised value. Now, they also look for the size of the house. They compare the size of the house, your own house with the other one. Typically, they stay within plus or minus 300 square foot within the residential space. They stay within plus or minus 300 square foot. So any property, let's say your property is 1500, so they look at 1200. So that means plus or minus 300. That's what they look at. Also, they look at the interior, the amenities you have, chandeliers, nice office space, nice dining, the furnitures, even though the furniture doesn't stay, but they kind of like look at what you have a little bit to kind of give them what that property worth. But mostly they focus on real property. Real property is when you turn your house upside down, whatever fall is your personal property. Whatever stays with the house, when you flip your house upside down, whatever stays, is you're actually a real estate, is a real property. That is, when you're selling the house, that thing that stays when you flip the house upside down has to stay in the house. So if you flip the house upside down, your furniture, your bookshelf, all those things may fall down, except they're attached to the wall. So if they're attached to the house, it becomes a real property. But if it falls down, it is a personal property. So if somebody is moving out, they have to take that with them because it's their personal property. So they look at the interior, they look at issues, that are just concerning. But if everything is good, your value should be great as well. And they also look at the improvement you've done. If you've done good improvement, good deal. It's going to help your property go up. And if you have not done improvement, it's going to bring it down. They also look at, surrounding amenities to help them to like see that, okay, hey, this one has this one has that. And they'll be able to, say that, okay, having seen this is what your property actually was. Now, there's always a problem, right? Let me walk you through the process. Now you decide to buy this house or you decide to sell your house. If you decide to sell your house, you don't need to go through a lender. Just get an appraiser company. They will come do it for you. And that's it. But if you're buying a house, you have to go through your lender. The lender, you have a house under contract. You're working with a lender. The lender will call the appraisal company. The appraiser will schedule it. They go there to the house. They have their own lockbox or super key access. They open the house. They start doing their thing. After they're done, they send the report to the lender and your lender send it to you. So that way you can see what the house appraised for and you can always read it and all those things. So now, if an appraisal report came back, in a way that you don't expect, you have this house under contract for $300,000, but appraiser came back at $270,000. That is a huge margin. $30,000 is a lot of money. What can you do? You can challenge it. Number one, you can challenge it. So how can you challenge an appraisal report? So if a value comes out lesser than what you have it under contract for, and you are strongly, convinced that yes, this house should be appraising more than this because my agent did a good work to find similar houses within 0.5 mile of that neighborhood, of that same subdivision. So I don't know what this appraiser guy is doing. I need to challenge this. Yes, you can. You simply have to talk to your lender. I am not comfortable with this appraisal. I want to challenge it. So what are you going to do? You get hold of your agent. Hey, Mr. Agent, can you please give me those comps you gave me when we're about getting this house under contract again? Or even if they're in your email, just, send it to your lender, and or your real estate agent will actually be the one helping you to challenge it because that is one of their fiduciary duty to, to protect you as much as possible and to give you some reasonable care. It's part of their reasonable care. They have to care about your investment, about your finances. So they can't allow you to go into a house that is $30,000 negative. That doesn't make sense. So agent will be challenging it, and while they're still working with the lender as well. So they will challenge the appraiser by giving a solid comparable that justify why the house should be around close to $300,000, if not even a little bit more. But most times when you challenge an appraiser, you don't even want to care so much about more. You just want to make sure that number go up to the offer price, to the price that you offer the seller. So the agent will come up with those comps, maybe 5, 6, 7 of them, then send it to the appraiser. The appraiser company will send somebody else to go do it. And if that person goes there, he will eventually do the same thing that the first person has done. He may be more experienced than the first person. Then he will come back with a different numbers. Most times it may not be so much different, but they are usually better than the first one because they know that you're challenging this because you're not comfortable with this. And after they do that, I don't think you can challenge more than once. So if they do it the first time, you don't like it, I think you probably need to, go get another lender and let them do another appraisal, because different lender will use, will do an appraisal on their own, because they don't trust the previous appraisal that has been done. They have to do their own because investment. So that is number two. I already jumped into it. If that one didn't work out, they did it second time, the appraisal still came back at 270,000 or 275, and you strongly believe that it should be very, very close to $300,000, then you change your lender. Change your lender. The second lender will order the same thing again. It could be from different company. It might be from the same company, but most time, even if it's the same company, it will be a different appraisal, not any of those two that have been there before. It will be, different appraisal, and the appraiser will go there and give you a, what's it called, a different value. Again, it might be very close to what the first two have done, or it might be very close to $300,000 that you are expecting. So if that one didn't work again, you have the option to do what? To terminate the contract based on appraisal issue, or come up with the difference from your pocket to actually close on the transaction, because lender will not lend you more than the appraised value. That is the purpose, that is the primary reason of an appraiser in the first place. So if you appraise less, let's say you appraise for $270,000, lender will only be borrowing you, up to $270,000, depending on the financing you have. So what does that mean to you? It means that you're going to be coming out of pocket with extra $30,000 in addition to your down payment you already agree with the lender. So this is not a very funny, it's not a very fun or very good situation people like to be in. But in this current real estate market, where property are selling, 15% over asking price, 20% over asking price, people are doing it every day because they just want to get that house, and because they believe the interest rate is low, they want to just get the house. They don't care about the extra dollar amount they are paying for the house. So that is the appraisal in a detail, and you can always challenge a house appraisal. I've done it before. A rental property I have appraised for $130,000, and I strongly know that the house should appraise for $155,000 minimum. And I challenge it, give them the comps, give them a solid reason why you should appraise more. And they send a second person there, and he appraised for $151,000. So that's very close to 155 I was expecting. So it means that I know what I'm doing. It means that I know I have the tools. It means that I know my right, and I do what I'm supposed to do, and I got the result I am expecting to get. So do not be scared away with a appraiser that came back low. There are ways to do it, and that's why you want to work with a rockstar agent. A rockstar agent know how to maneuver all these things that you don't know yourself. So if you are not working with an agent, you are at a big disadvantage, because now you are screwed. Appraiser came back low. What are you going to do? You need to know. So thank you so much for watching up to the end. If you find value in this video, please make sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell so I can let you know anytime I have a new video. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.